Hey, yo, what's up? This is Disciple Marcello Currents Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day. All right, so this this video basically is going to be about the black leaders, the African American leaders, not properly correcting and chastising the African American community as a whole. It's a message. It's a message that's long overdue from many people. That's a seven. It's long overdue. We sit back and we don't let white people speak on black people. We sit back and we don't let nobody speak on black people. We sit back and we don't say nothing ourselves. We just let it run rampant, just like people who have their children out of control and let their children just run free. That's how we let the black community do. You just let it run free, do what it do, and anybody that say something, you want to correct them, but you don't correct what everybody's talking about. The bottom line is this: the greatest violence in this country, the greatest killings in this country on a day-to-day basis, on a day-to-day basis, on an average everyday day-to-day basis, it comes from the African American community. All the famous people and leaders and all the political leaders, none of them are saying what needs to be said. None of them are saying what needs to be said. So I want you to understand, coming from me, I am not one of those people that you're gonna own and say that's one of our own, and I'm not gonna say anything. That's a seven. Yeah, you got me messed up because it's not because I care more about the problem of children dying in the African American community more than you do. You say you care, but you're not saying anything. Let's be 100. Everybody talking about keeping it real. Let's keep it 100. If you don't say anything, silence gives basically a type of consent, especially when you're pushing out violent messages in the music and violent messages in the media. Not only the music, the movies. That's a seven. Yeah, there are gangster movies too. It's not just the trap music, the drill music. It ain't just that. It ain't just the thug life music. It ain't just that. It's the movies too that these directors are making. Let's talk about that part because everybody want to get on the rappers. Let's get on the movies that they're making. Let's get on the movies that they're making about the street life and all of that. Having people infatuated with it. Anything that you make art like that is going to cause an infatuation. That's a seven. So playtime is over. What you thought black people gonna just sit back and do what they want to do, and the end of the world was gonna come like this without God correcting them? Without God correcting them, you think they were just gonna sit propped up and have no one correct them? You should know better than that. Everybody's scared to do it. Everybody's scared to do it. What is created around the black culture, the black community, is an endangered species culture. You act like we're endangered species. You can't do this. You can't do that. Don't say that. Don't say this. Can't say this about them. Like we're an endangered species. You know what racism is? The anti-racism is? You know what anti-racism is? Treat everybody equal, good and bad parts. That means if I treat you as my equal, I'm not only going to treat you with love, I'm also going to treat you with hate and correction if I have to. Just treating me with love is a form of racism. That's a seven. Oh, yeah. That's good right there. Yeah, just do good by those little people over there. Just let them do good. Just do, oh no, don't say that. That's racism. You know what you should be fighting for? To be treated just like everybody else, not better than everybody else, not as an endangered species. Because if you're not corrected, then you're not treated as humans. If you're not corrected, you're not treated like humans. Humans get corrected. Humans get corrected. And that's why you have the situation that you have now. And now everyone's running around like they're wild, killing each other and shooting each other because you're not even treated like humans. You know what humans are treated like? When you do wrong, you get corrected. That's what happens in this real world. Humans get corrected. And that's why many of the black community members of the black community never liked me. You know why you never liked me? Since about 2016, 2017, because on Facebook I've been telling the truth since about that time. Go check my Facebook. For about 6 or 7 years, I've been telling the truth. It's foolishness. It's all of this is foolishness. You know what I'm saying? I handle mine just like the next man. I protect myself just like the next man. If I got the proper equipment, yes, I will. However, however, I tell you one thing about me, you ain't gonna never see no situations where kids are shot through walls and through buildings and stuff. You know, and some people pride themselves on being reckless. They pride themselves on that. They pride themselves on being ratchet. They pride themselves on it. And that's the difference between me and them. I believe even if you're a soldier, be professional. If you're a killer, be professional. If you call yourself a drug dealer, you need to be professional. Anything you do, you need to be professional. Wretchedness and unprofessionalism will get you nowhere but in jail or dead. You call yourself a killer, if you ain't professional, you're going to be dead. You're going to be dead. Call yourself a thug, if you ain't professional, you're going to be in jail. Call yourself a gangster, if you're not professional, you will be dead. Even if you're a gangbanger, if you're not professional, you will be in jail. Bottom line. Okay? And all the leadership of the world do not correct you. You know what they say? Do better. That's whoever started that. We need to boycott that. I'm not saying who originated. Many people say it, but somebody originated that. Do better. You ain't saying that when white people say would do something against black people. You ain't saying do better. So, but what's the difference if black people doing stuff against black people? You say do better for them, but with white people, you say what? You hooping and hollering like you're at a funeral. You hooping and hollering like you're at a funeral. See, it's a bias correction situation here. Okay? You're biased towards your own, so you don't correct them properly. But you're correcting everybody else. But the problem with that is if you don't start correction at home, then nothing changes. What's going to change if you don't correct your own people? You correcting everybody else how to treat you. That's in check. But what's not in check is you correcting yourselves. So this whole message is for the leadership. You are not going to change black people talking about do better. Come on now, let's keep it 100. Let's read between the lines. Because what you don't realize is already you're detected as the biggest problem in the whole country. They ain't gonna tell you that. But you don't think somebody is seeing all the percentages and all the high ratings, the high ratios of you killing each other? You don't think they see that? You don't think they're gonna try to do something innovative to separate that from their society? If God does tarry, you don't think they're gonna try to separate that from society? See, what's gonna happen is the black community probably will be put in like a Allen type of wasteland situation, just worse than the ghetto, because it's getting out of control. It's getting out of control, bro. And here's the thing: everybody want to say that somebody say something is a sellout. So what was your daddy and your mama when they corrected you? Were they sellouts? When your family tell you the truth about yourself as a grown man or woman, are they sellouts? See, it's easy to say that. It's easy to say somebody. It's easy to say somebody's an Uncle Tom or a sellout because they telling you the truth. But you are being immature. You are being childlike when you're not listening to what's being said. You know, the greatest level of knowledge and wisdom is to be able to take knowledge and wisdom from your enemies. You know why? Because your enemies are going to look for flaws. Your enemies are going to look for stuff that your friends are overlooking. Your enemies are going to tell you stuff about yourself that the government don't want to tell you. Your enemies are going to tell you stuff that the American culture is not going to tell you because they're scared that they're going to get canceled from cancel culture. Your enemies are going to tell you the truth. So if you are students of information and knowledge and wisdom and instruction, one of the highest levels is to take it from your enemies. They're watching nothing but your flaws. They watching nothing but the things you do wrong. I'm not your enemy, but I'm saying the highest level of receiving information is from your enemies. One of them, your enemies ain't looking for nothing good. So you just made me better. Thank you. You just made me better. That's how you should look at it. But instead of that, you consider you want to say it's racism. You want to pull the race card and say it's racism. Well, I last time I checked, observing someone kill kids is not and articulating your opinions on that is not racism. That's not racism. Racism, by definition, and the definition that most people commonly use here in America is at face value, someone sees you and they hate you for your appearance. For your appearance, not for your character, not for your actions. For your appearance, you're hated. That's racism. If someone see you 2 blocks away and they're walking and you're black and they're whatever, and they hate you and they ain't even got up on you, that's racism. That's the racism that most people are commonly talking about, is that at face value, they hate you. That's the racism you're talking about. Because it's not cultural. They don't hate your culture, do they? Oh, come on. That's not what the racism that's in politics and on the streets. That's not the racism we're talking about. The racism is when you go into a restaurant and they look at your appearance and they treat you differently, serve you differently. That's racism. That's the racism you're talking about. You can't even get a chance to show who you are. That's a 7. You can't even give a chance. You don't even have a chance to show that you're a servant of God. You don't even have a chance to show that you love the Lord. You don't even have a chance to show that you have good morals and more good morals than America, because America is marrying children in 44 states. You don't even have a chance to get to show that you have better morals than your country, because at face value, you are hated. That's racism, not somebody correcting you based on your character, on your actions. They're not saying nothing about your appearance. They've given you, in fact, they've taken enough time to study you. I've taken enough time to study. By racist people, you get dismissed almost instantaneously. You get dismissed instantaneously. You don't get taken seriously instantaneously. You should be glad racism don't take you seriously. Racism don't even take time to explain anything. When somebody takes time to explain something, they're taking you seriously. If I don't even take time to explain anything about you, that's a person that doesn't take you seriously. Even in a relationship. If you let a person do what they want to do and how they want to do it, and you don't say nothing about it, you just let them do what they want to do, how they want to do it. To me, you don't even care. You don't even take that person seriously. When you take time to explain if you're in a relationship and you take time to explain what people are doing wrong, what that person is doing wrong, you take them seriously. You're talking to them as an equal. You're not as condescending. You're talking to them as to try to understand from your perspective. If you didn't take them seriously, you wouldn't even waste your time. If I didn't take you seriously, I wouldn't even waste my time. See, what you have to understand is the leadership in your community, they're more concerned about the business part of your of their relationship with you. So if they say the wrong thing, the money stops. That's what you have to understand. So they're not going to rub you the wrong way, and they're going to have managers and people around them that's going to tell them not to rub you the wrong way, because it's not going to be beneficial towards their careers. So you have to understand, all these leaders that's over you, all these actors and actresses and musicians and things like that of that nature, all the BT, the black entertainment, all of that, that crowd right there is not going to rock the boat and tell you what you need to hear. They ain't gonna do it. It's too controversial. So it takes someone like me. And look, I'm not trying to necessarily be any one leader in America, because I feel like America is already expired. God gave me a prophecy. America has expired July 25th, 2019. This country is already expired. You ain't got to do nothing else. You ain't got to fight this country. You see me outside fighting on the blocks. You see me outside running around trying to politic and see who's who in the area. I don't care, because America has expired. It's already expired. That's for my allies, Russia and other allies that I acknowledge. America has expired already. God has given me a prophecy as a prophet of God, a true prophet of God. July 25th, 2019, I put on Facebook, America has expired. August, September, October, November, December, January, February. 7 months later, you had COVID in the country. 7 months later, after the prophecy that I released, 7 months later, COVID-19 was in your country. I don't play no games. This ain't no shuck and jive game. I told you America has expired. I had no outward appearance of anything. This is the greatest country, supposed to be the greatest country in the world. I put America has expired. 7 months later, you had COVID they were informed of COVID, and COVID was in the country. 8 months later, you want to be more factual, you want to be even more technical. 8 months at best, COVID was in your country. Less than 8 months later, they were informed of it 6 months after this prophecy. August, September, October, November, December, January. By January, 6 months later, half a year later from this prophecy, the White House knew COVID was coming. That's a 7. Just in case you think my credibility ain't real. You got anybody else doing that? Saying a whole country is expired? Ain't nobody doing that and got the balls to say that. Knowing you lying, knowing you ain't on that level. I just put it out. I just said it. It was a prophecy. It was a prophecy. Less than 8 months, 7 to 8 months later, you had COVID right here in your country. COVID-19, not the swine flu, not mad cow disease. For people who question my credibility, when I say I'm a prophet, this is what I put up. I put up America has expired. 7 to 8 months later, you had COVID. God knew COVID was coming. So for any of you little Donald Duck people, I don't play any games. For all you little dumb Illuminati people, you don't know you have no idea what you're playing with. You obviously don't. I am a man who prophesied that America has expired, and in less than 7 to 8 months, they had COVID. That's what you playing with, buddy. And that's why you suffering the way you suffering. You better take another look. Yeah, you better take another look. And you better listen again from a different ear. Now, All this situations in the black community where people just sit back and don't say nothing, but you jump all over what other people say. That time is ended. Because if you are God's true chosen people, God holds you more accountable, not less accountable. You don't get to chill back and sit back and relax and sit back in a lazy boy recliner and drink a Coca-Cola. You have more responsibility. If you are original man, you have more responsibility. You can't be lazy. You can't be socially lazy, morally lazy. You have more responsibility. Everybody talking about the black man is the original man, then guess what that means to me? You have more responsibility. Well, you should be telling us all what to do and how to do it. Not sitting back just everybody kissing your butt, singing your praises. That ain't how that go, big baby. It comes responsibility with being on top. Anything you do, if you on top, it's more responsibility. I have never seen someone on top with less responsibility. This is what I'm saying. You know, you want to have your cake and eat it too. Look, this is the bottom line, man. God holds us all responsible. God holds us all responsible. God holds leadership over the black community responsible. He holds that responsible because, you know, if you sit up and you fleece the people, you fleece the community, and you know you're not saying what needs to be said, you know you're not implying it and insinuating it, then guess what? You're just fleecing the people. You're just sitting back letting them go down the drain. When one word from you could change everything. One word from somebody's one tweet from one of these superstars that everybody's so endeared with and almost worship in the black community, they can say one thing and it changes the whole culture. Do you see them doing that though? Because it's more, they care about acceptance more than anything. I don't care about being accepted. That's the first rule. That's one of the first one-on-ones in being a prophet. You don't care about being accepted. I don't care if you accepted me or not. You can reject me as much as you want. You can reject me from day one, and I'll still be here at day 100. Yeah, I don't need your acceptance. Do I need your acceptance to get what God, the job done that God got me to do? I don't need your acceptance. Now, I just showed you that prophecy that was revealed. Because see, here's the thing about it, especially in the black community, in the American community. First thing you want to do is try to see if a person is fake and false. You know what I would try to do? I would look for what is real first and then go from there because the person is human. That's a 7. So if I started looking for what is real, then I can say, okay, I can accept whatever else is going on there. At least I know he's real. Okay, I can accept that. I can accept this person is flawed, but real. But when you go in looking for what's fake, then you cancel everything that's real. If you're slow, say you're slow. If you go in looking for something fake, you're going to cancel everything. Nah, you're going to dismiss the whole thing because once you see something that you don't like or that you think is fake or false, then you cancel the whole thing. So guess what I do? I would go in seeing what's real first, therefore solidifying that, and then everything else, any kind of flaws, I can accept that because I know I got a real foundation. That's a 7. But in your community, you go look for what's fake and false and cancel everything altogether. And let me help you with what a false prophet is. A false prophet is not somebody who has a morality problem. Again, a false prophet is not someone who has a morality problem, who has a drinking problem. That's not a false prophet. A false prophet is not someone who smokes weed. That's not a false prophet. A false prophet is not someone who has sex. That's not a false prophet. A false prophet, based on biblical perspective, based on scripture, is someone who speaks and nothing comes true. Because a prophet, what is a prophet? A poster boy for morality? That's not a prophet. A poster boy for morality is a prophet. That's not a prophet. By definition, a prophet is a poster boy for morality. Then you could say that would make him a false prophet if he does not line up with morality. That's not what a prophet is. That's not by definition. It's not a poster boy for morality. A prophet is someone who speaks and what they say comes true. That's the design and activity and details of a prophet. Period. Because there is no perfect prophets. For the black community and the American community, there are no perfect prophets. So guess what happens? When you see flaws, you say false prophet. That's a 7. Last time I checked, there's no perfect humans. Last time I checked, there's no perfect human beings. Last time I checked, there's nothing people can do that is perfect. There is no perfect person. So therefore, see, what you do is you get your magnifying glass and try to make somebody perfect. And you know how I know you do it as humans? Because you did it to Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was perfect. And you still found something wrong with him. What that tell you? What that tells you? Jesus Christ was perfect and you still found something wrong. That tells you how stupid these human beings are. So I don't even bother with it. I fully accept my human nature. I have no problem. I have no hangups with accepting the fact that I'm human. Maybe you have a problem with being human and flawed. I do not. I have no problems with that. And so how you think I feel about you having a problem with me being human? You think I care? I don't care. Oh well. Oh well. I'm grown. Oh well. My self-esteem is established and solidified and anchored. I don't care. I care less. I could care less. You ain't gonna shake my self-esteem. How I esteem myself. Because you sit back, like I said, like an endangered species. Can't say this to them. Can't say this to that. Can't say that. I wouldn't even want nobody to treat me like that. Yeah, hold me accountable like everybody else. But we can't do that with you, can we? Your leadership is not doing that. And most of the people are doing out there is fleecing your community. They're getting your money, entertaining you, but not telling you what you need, but not telling you what needs to be said. Not telling you what you need to hear, I mean. And that's the difference. I'm not doing this to go viral. I'm not doing this for you to even pay attention. This is part of who I am. This is part of what I am as a prophet. And I don't need an audience. Don't you see it's still getting done? Everything I'm talking about still getting done. I said America has expired. Okay? 7 to 8 months later, you had COVID-19 here. That's credibility, big baby. Because it's a big statement to say something like that. It's one thing to say Delaware has expired. The state of Delaware has expired. It's another thing to say America has expired. And then you get COVID 7 to 8 months later. That's not coincidental, buddy. That's not coincidental. And the thing, what's so funny is you can't see that writing on the wall, but everybody in this country is so superstitious about everything. Oh, you believe in, you're very superstitious. You believe in this and that and putting this together. But you can't see in plain English and plain writing when someone says America has expired and 7 to 8 months later, COVID-19 is here. But you can put all these conspiracy theories together. You can put all numbers and all this other crazy stuff together. But you can't simply put that thing together. That's why I don't waste my time. I just state the obvious and keep it moving. So you cannot say that I didn't tell you. You can't say I didn't tell you. You know, if people don't, if you got guard dogs and watchdogs that don't want to say what's and say we don't know our own flaws, and we say we know our flaws and we know we got problems, then you need to state those problems. You need to state those problems to the people that need to hear it. And you need it's called tough love. That's what it's called. You ain't been given no tough love. These leaders have not been given any tough love, and and people are still killing all the time. We don't hear your voice when black children are killed. Now let a white man do the same thing. Let a white man go and shoot stray bullets into a building or a house or a car and kill innocent children and watch how you hoop and holler like you at a funeral. Let a white man do it. We won't hear the end of it. But when you do it, we don't hear nothing. We hear crickets. That's all we hear, right? We hear crickets. You know why? Because you're biased. You're biased when it comes to you doing it. You're biased when it comes to you doing something wrong. You biased, but you waiting for everybody else to do something wrong towards you. But when you do wrong towards each other, we don't hear nothing from it, do we? Hey man, everybody out here ain't stupid. You got to treat everybody with the same standard. This is the standards that we have to have in the community of equality. Equality is most important. Chastise everyone on the same level. You shouldn't even want no special days.